So we're in the middle of the breeding season for our leopard geckos, and we got to make sure that the quality of our leopard geckos is always spot on. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what we do, little extra things that we do to our leopard gecko families to keep the weight on. Now guys, Brian from MBK Reptiles here. Today I'm going to show you guys a little bit of something that we do. Luckily, we're probably the only people in the world that are able to do that because of a lot more things that we do. We actually give extra supplements to our leopard geckos, to our families. We actually give them an extra lot of silkworms every week. Now, people can go ahead and buy silkworms, but when you have a big production to buy silkworms and hornworms, it actually costs a lot of money. And when you wholesale animals like we do, it's very, very hard to be able to justify having that extra spending on silkworms and hornworms to feed your leopard geckos. Now, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of how many silkworms that we actually go through. You guys see? So this is how many silkworms that we have excess for this week. Now, how is it that we're able to have access to those? Well, the truth is that we actually raise our own silkworms. So we have a big production where we produce about 15 to 25,000 silkworms a week. We wholesale them a little bit everywhere in Canada, but all the leftover, lucky enough, we feed them off. Now this is probably, how much would you think, you say, girls? That's probably I would say
15 to 18,000.
Yeah, this is probably 10,000 silkworms right here. So imagine when you go ahead at your local pet store, this is probably $1 a pop. So it's probably $1 each silkworms that you're buying them at your pet store. So that would be relatively $10,000 of silkworms that we're going to be feeding off today. Now, can I feed them all to all my leopard geckos? There's no way. I'm going to show you guys also at the end of the video where we actually finish feeding those silkworms, which is pretty cool. So what we'll do right here is every week we're just going to grab at the end of the week, we'll just go up and we'll just add just a few silkworms to each bins, and from that point on we'll make sure that the following week, that on the Monday or whatnot, that the animals actually eat them. So just a few here. I won't do them all because right now I'm working with one hand. It doesn't really work well. Now, so right now, at this point, it's a little bit dark here. I have to fix some lights, but that's the truth of working in a warehouse. We always have to do things. So there's always have to renovations and a bunch of stuff. So all in, all out. So guys, right now, again, we're in the middle of the breeding season. So we've already had probably over 300 eggs, I think, that we've had laid. We've already hatched out probably about 40 or so babies. And we definitely can't wait to be getting more and more during that. Now, one thing that we did, which is actually cool, just as a little update, we actually basically all our first eggs, we incubated them in our ball python incubator. So we wanted to sex incubate them hot. The fact that we're getting them hot is we know that we're going to primarily produce males. Now the males will hatch faster, and then they're considered hot males. And for us, they tend to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit better breeders. So that's our main goal. So the first ones that we're going to do are going to be our hot males. We're going to hand pick our nicest ones for the future breeders, and we'll go from there. From that point on, then we basically have all the other eggs in a controlled room temperature where it's going to be just around the 80s, and then we'll hope to hatch our females from there. So let me show you guys where else I'm going to be able to feed all those silkworms. So we'll go downstairs. We'll catch you back later. All right, so here we are. We have our silkworms. We have a little bit less than 10,000. So we already fed a bunch of our silkworms to all our leopard geckos, and all this left over, so this $9,000 worth of silkworms, we're going to be feeding them off to our rats. So just right off the bat, who do you know feeds worms to rats, right? Nobody does it. But you know what? Feeding the rats, they actually love the worms. If you feed them mealworms, dried superworms, different types of worms. They love that extra protein, but we actually feed them live silkworms because we have that excess and we don't want to waste them. And it's great nutrition value for all of our rats. And the thing is that those rats are what we're going to be feeding our own like snakes afterwards with. So it's very important that we want to make sure that we have the best quality rats to be able to do that. We feed them extra vegetables, we feed them even pastas, and on top of all the normal food that we have. So we really see the difference that we produce some really awesome looking things. But I'm going to show you guys what we do. So we're just going to grab a full blown of silkworms and just feed them there. And let's hope that they're not going to be shy, and we're going to see them go ahead and feed on them. I'm going to feed a few at the same time, and we'll see if we're able to see them up. Oh, right here. Let's see. Some of them, these are all the little young ones, but the old ones are shy. Breeders. They really eat them like crazy. So let's see how they do. Now, what about those, huh? A little bit. We'll have to see. So let's see. They're all a little bit shy. What about those? Oh, here you go. Look at them go. They just grab like little. You see them come up? And they're just shy, but they're just taking a worm and they're going right back up to them. So that's a little bit what we do. And then after that, we'll go to our adults, and we'll just add some more food. So don't mind the dirty bins. It's actually cleaning day today and tomorrow. So they're all going to be clean to do that. And you know what? Perfect time to be able to feed those worms, right? So just a nice big handful of worms to all. This one's a little flood, so we'll do that right after. Again, that's part of breeding rats, so everybody knows you got to take care of those floods. So that's a little bit of what we do on a weekly basis. We have all these extra worms, but we don't waste nothing here at MBK. We hate it. We just love doing it, especially when there's such amazing nutritional value all towards that. So guys, I hope you enjoy these little videos, these little updates of how we do things, these little things that you do. Let us know what let us know in the comments down below, like what would you guys, how far do you go for your own animals? So even if you have just a few animals at home, what do you do to treat them, right? If you have breeders, how do you do things differently than other people do? You give little excess things to your animals that maybe you don't see anybody else to do. So you know what? We're super curious. We love to do it. We love to treat our animals the best way that we can. And until then, make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, and until next time.